What's going on, gamers? Welcome back to another custom meme reaction. Get your snacks, because we're back with Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Now, this is the second part to Rim Games, or technically third part, because the second part corrupted, but the third part of Rim Games theory, and he's back on the symbols. So let's just see what my boy did. Let's see if he's truly solved these symbols or not. Let me move this over so you guys can see me better.
Hello
there we go.
All, and welcome to episode 3 of this Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared theory series.
He is getting better at the intros. Ooh, he's okay.
The series that's all about this guy, and this guy, and this person, and this thing, and this
stain.
car.
Get it right. Don't call it
If you haven't watched
stain.
the rest
It's
of the
stain.
series, there's a link at the top right of the screen to go to the entire series.
Yes, sir. I've
playlist.
seen them, man.
And I would recommend watching them because we dive deep in all of these videos. We're going to
I
revisit
know.
these symbols with a lot more information. I'm also going to answer a lot of the questions that people have had from the last video. We also have a special guest in this episode that took an even deeper dive into these symbols.
Is that me? Oh, am I in the episode?
Studied these linguistics. Like always with this channel, this video will dive insanely deep into everything we see. I would still even consider this to be one of the deepest dives we've ever done on this channel, but to understand it all, we need to start small. Let's start by trying to disprove our previous theory. If all of these symbols were their names, how is Yellow Guy's name so long, and isn't Duck's name the Enter key? We see in episode 4 that...
Well, I don't know if I'd call it the Enter key. It's just placed kind of conveniently over there where Enter normally would be. That's all I'm saying.
Red Guy types Yellow Guy's name quite a bit. We hear Yellow Guy telling him to not forget about the hyphen.
Remember the hyphen.
Remember the
we also
hyphen.
see that the last button Red Guy presses is the red button with the symbol that we called Duck's name. First, let's start with the Enter key. There is one small problem if this was supposed to be the Enter key. When Red Guy is pressing Duck's name, we see him lift his hand, and the only thing he presses is this one symbol. But yet, when we go to the next shot, we see that there is an input in the computer. If
there is.
Enter key, how could Red Guy have already pressed one of the keys?
I mean, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. What if you're right? I can't. I always have something to say, but I don't have anything to say this time, boys.
Red Guy is obviously telepathic. I mean, look at all this evidence. No, but really, this is kind of strange. If this is the only button he presses here, but this is the last button he presses,
it's probably like a key binding where you have to control and then enter.
It both can't be the Enter key and can't be Duck's name. We also see
it is the Enter key and it is Duck's name, and he's holding one of the signs over there and hitting enter at the same time to be able to enter.
Enter key right here, which would mean that this can't be the Enter key, but how can Yellow Guy's name contain Duck's name?
Look, man.
This question is a lot more complicated.
Don't worry about that. Letters. English.
These characters aren't just one symbol, like how the English alphabet is structured. They're made up of multiple different patterns to create one character. This may seem confusing and strange, but let me explain what I mean.
Show me what you mean.
Thinking about linguistics, there are multiple different...
Every time he says that, like, linguini.
Subfields
I hear the linguini.
Phonetics, how speech sounds. Morphology, the study of word structure. Syntax,
man, we are gonna be learning a lot today.
And semantics, the study of meaning or definition. And yes, there are many more that we can look at.
I don't know if I can handle much more.
At these
Same.
We are really only ever going to look at 2 of these, but to answer our first question, we're only going to look at morphology, which is the study of word structure.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's put our words up on the side of the screen.
I'm looking at them.
Clearly see that these symbols are not as simple to understand as one of the many similarly alphabetical-based languages like English, French, Spanish, German, or many of the others that we can use in our world. These words are one character composed of various lines, circles,
so kind of like Japanese.
This type of writing seems similar to Chinese characters or even ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic.
Close enough, man. I was close enough.
This type of writing is called a logographic writing system. These types of scripts are written or pictorial symbols that are intended to represent a whole word. But this still isn't exactly it.
That's kind of what I figured it was, but
words. These are more idea or concept-based symbols that are independent of any particular language. This type of language is called an ideogram. We experience
Ideogram.
many types of ideograms in our current day-to-day life. The numeric and mathematical symbols are ideograms. The percent, pound, dollar, euro.
Oh yeah, I guess
degree,
so.
at, and many more. These are all ideograms.
I didn't know they
rather
were
than
called
log
ideograms though,
ideograms
boys.
do not contain our normal idea of roots. To
Okay.
explain this, let's take the word unbreakable. We can
Okay,
split this
unbreakable.
word, no pun intended, into various morphemes.
Let me try to think of them. Oh, well, I was gonna say breakable. You can just take out break. Able.
Not.
Oh my
break,
gosh, my nose is
root,
killing me.
Able, ability. This is the way a word is structured in English.
Yeah.
Ideograms and logograms are a lot more complexly structured, but can be described this way. This
Okay.
is an example of an ideogram. This character is from a fictional
Mm,
language
that
called
looks like something-
UNLWS, or
What?
the Unker Nonlinear Writing System. Up here, we can see the arguments for this language. The first glyph
My boys, this
conveys
is-
the clause that point A is me. The second
Okay.
glyph conveys the clause that point B eats point C.
Of
The
course.
third glyph conveys the clause that point D is a fish.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
fourth glyph conveys the clause that point
E is large.
is large. Putting all of this together, we have the connection at point A and B to show me eats, and we have multiple connections at point C, D,
Me
and
eats
E
a
to show that
fish,
eats
a
is
large
a large
fish.
So this
Me eats a
symbol
large
here
fish.
means
Oh my.
I eat a large fish.
Well, yeah,
This
that.
is how ideograms work. They may not convey words and ideas the same way
They're-
that our common
they're
languages do,
hard
but they
to
still
understand.
have proper grammar behind them. If we take a look at this second symbol in that same
Mm.
language, we can see some.
This a real language? My boys, you telling me this is a real language? I ain't never gonna learn that. There is no way.
A lot more complicated than the languages we are used to. But we can
Yeah.
still see this glyph we analyze. We can see here that these symbols can be flipped, changed, and oriented depending on how they are used.
Okay.
This is very important when looking at our symbols. To understand what these symbols represent, what they mean, how they are written, and how they work, we can't just take everything at the face value it is presented to us.
Of course, that's
We
how
have seen
symbols work.
multiple times in this show that these symbols are sometimes oriented differently, and we have seen with our previous idea.
Oh yeah, I guess you could try to find each little piece of these symbols and see if they match any others. If they don't, then this is completely wrong. If they do, this man's onto something. This man's onto some big
graphs
stuff,
that
which I think he
glyphs
is.
Can be changed and oriented differently. We need to remember this because we're about to look at the most important, most critical, most crucial, decisive, essential, extensive,
What are all these words?
influential, meaningful,
Jesus.
vital, urgent. Sponsor me, thesaurus.com. But here
Ah,
we go.
yeah,
The
yes.
most important image in this entire video. A
Me too.
keyboard. We did it. We solved Five Nights at
You
Freddy's.
did it.
Sorry
You-
about that.
Oh,
I got
oh.
overly excited. Anyway,
Maybe
this
next time.
keyboard is very important. Why? Because it literally shows us our glyphs. But like
Oh, wait. Yeah, it does.
step forward, we must take 2 steps back.
Uh-huh.
With the last ideogram example, we had more easily defined and more varieties of glyphs that we can use, but this ideographic language uses possibly 8 or 11 total glyphs. This
Yep.
makes our life immensely more difficult when trying to decipher them. I am way out of my depth here.
Only a little
Luckily,
bit.
The amazing Kai has come to save the day. So
Kai.
let me have him explain it.
With the ideography, I think you
My boy. I'm sorry. What is that mic?
were going somewhere.
What is that
with the
microphone?
fact that, yes, some of the symbols do represent the characters, because on the edges of the book, it does show some of their defining characteristics. With
Yeah.
the red guy, the red character, there's obviously the eyes that appear frequently. Duck would have
What about the little strings, man? Why does nobody talk about the little strings?
the beak as the defining characteristic used in the ideography. And there's multiple situations in it where you have to rotate it to see something
Yeah.
else. For instance, if you look at the bottom with
He's going
what
through
you
his
assume to
pages.
be, the red guy's ideograph, when flipping it, you can kind of see that there are some legs and possibly something indicating motion of limbs.
I
But
don't.
then if you look at what
Again, I
seems to
don't
be-
think it's
it looks like an
limbs.
italicized M, but it might be strings carrying the character upwards, kind of relating to
Okay.
being under control by something. And then you look at
He's
the
made of strings.
face. If you look at it like a bit, you can see that there's a bit of a frowning face, which is on the keyboard as well. So a lot of the stuff that's on here.
Alright,
is
this
referenced on
one,
the keyboard. I mean,
it's a
there
little
is
bit of a stretch,
possibility
but
that
I get what he's
when
saying.
he's mashing the keys around, that he's actually having something coherent, and it's not just a joke. I mean, it's possible that it wasn't choreographed, and that he was just putting something random, and in the lore, it's supposed to actually be something, and it's conveying that it's just complex to
I
write
mean,
things.
I don't
But
think it's
there does seem
choreographed.
to be a system. Now, on the red guy, you can kind of see that there's a similarity between what appears to be a question mark without a dot being the torso of the puppet. But then you can see the frowning face on the keyboard that's used with the eyes as the face of the character. And then you can see that a dot on the keyboard, one of the many references to dots that could be eyes, perhaps, but I'm not sure, are there as well. So things seem to combine at random points.
My boy, this is the biggest stretch I've ever seen in any theory ever, and I'm all for it. Like, this is,
And then sometimes
we are taking metal and we are stretching this thing.
We can see that it appears to be the red guy, and that he is upset about something.
Yeah.
He is defined by the eyes that are very close together, and he is a puppet on strings. Now, people keep saying that they represent the names of the characters as like letters, and that if you flip them around, you can see letters in English. I really think that's the case, mostly because, I mean, that's not really how languages themselves work. And although I'm not sure if they actually did this coherently, knowing how languages usually function, but I'm hoping that they did something like that, and not just replace things, because it does seem very similar to another fictional ideography.
And what would that be?
Which is the Unker nonlinear writing system.
Down in the description below, there's a link to check out his channel. Make sure you do that, because he's got a video out that goes into what the exact ideographies on the book could mean. Let me
just say something. Kai, if you're watching this, you're great guy, awesome. Please go to a better room or get a better microphone. That's all I ask.
Which is pretty damn cool. But now, let's go back to our main question we had before with our new information. Let's try to answer the question we asked before. How could Yellow Guy's name be so long? Well, we discussed how this was a complex language system that we have seen use rotated versions of the glyphs, but we also have one more thing. When looking at the book, some of these symbols are structured differently than we've ever seen. We have the space bar right here. We have inverted
I just saw the space bar. Jesus Christ. It's just a line.
Versions of the keys right here. And we see this thing on Yellow Guy's name attached to his partner character in a completely different direction in a completely different location. Well, that's it right there. Parts of these characters can be attached to other ones. Just like how we mentioned ideographs works before. These glyphs can be used on other characters. This is even more evidence that this isn't just our similarly alphabetical type languages a lot of us are used to. These glyphs have to be flipped and turned and segmented and cut.
But are you gonna, here's the thing. I really hope he decodes what they say instead of just saying what they are.
These characters. This is how Yellow Guy's name is so long.
Which I don't know if he will.
It would most likely require multiple key presses, maybe even at the same time, to change these glyphs into the directions that they need to be in to represent these characters.
And that would explain why he types so long.
Arrow keys multiple times, which is most likely the way to orient these glyphs into the characters that they need to be in.
Yo.
I don't think the rest of this scene is choreographed based on him mostly hitting blank keys. This part was specifically framed to be focused on.
Where he went.
But we once again have to ask, where is the hyphen?
Remember the hyphen.
The hyphen.
Well, we already know that these glyphs make up the symbols that we know and love, but it's very hard to come up with exact places for these glyphs, as we don't know the exact grammar behind this ideography.
Let's all just look. It's like right there. Look at the yellow, the yellow guy's name. hyphen. Do you maybe the hyphen's like the eyes? Maybe it's the line in the triangle. It's
But,
something.
I mean, look at it. Pick a spot
Yeah, there you go.
that couldn't be a hyphen. I think that the best options for it, though, are in one of these 3 spots. And the ones on the side could be this symbol that we see on the left side of the keyboard.
True.
All of our information could even help us explain how Yellow Guy's name can be made up of Duck's name. With the amount of effort and specification that needs to go into making these characters...
Well, I mean, if it's anything like the name Ronald, you have the name Ron inside the name Ronald. So it's maybe their names are similar, you know?
We can see both by just looking at them and by looking at Red Guy's struggle. We can easily assume that you can remove or specify parts of the glyph to be in the character as opposed to the entire glyph. I mean, just look at how much smaller this symbol is than the spacebar. This is how Duck's name could be.
Yeah, that is the spacebar. I didn't even notice that.
It's not the entirety of Duck's name that's in it. Only a piece.
Yes.
But now for the big boy questions, let's head over to the big boy room.
Yes, the big boy
more
room.
Evidence that these are their actual names. Yes. Let's confirm Duck's name first.
All right, go ahead.
We know this can't be the enter key because we see one right here on the left side. And after
That's the shift key, but I'll...
Red Guy presses that key for Duck's name, we can see one key press recorded in
I
the
still think it's
computer's
you hold a
password
button
bar.
and then you
So
hit that button.
This is definitive that this is in fact Duck's name. For Red Guy, I mentioned previously that we can see him here partnered with Duck's symbol when they are both gone in the family episode. But we can also see this symbol right here on the outside of the dollhouse, which is the most important spot in my opinion.
And they do, it's like, it's not like these symbols are accidental because they keep putting them back. They definitely like what's going on here with the symbols and they're doing it on purpose. So it's not like this is just out on the limb and it's like, what are you doing? This is not, no, this is crazy.
Why could this be the most important? Because it is the spot that is the most out of the way and the only time we ever see 3 of these symbols in the same place at the same time. Any other time we see these symbols, there are more or less, but here there are exactly 3 in the biggest scene of the entire show where the only people who can see it are people in the attic. Finally,
I'm in the attic.
I pointed out this character on the printer paper as Yellow Guy's secondary symbol back in the first episode.
Yeah,
we can
it's like
clearly
flipped.
see that this symbol is associated with Yellow Guy, but it's not his
It's
main
got the
symbol
space bar down
because
there.
we can see this
Maybe
one
that's the
outside of
hyphen.
the dollhouse here, with Duck's name being one of the 3. Now, of course, we may never know if this symbol or this symbol is Yellow Guy's name just by looking at when they show up.
I mean, I feel like
has a pretty good idea that
like
he
that
came
one
up
is the
with
yellow.
by analyzing the ideology that we'll get back to in a later episode, but I'll give you a teaser now by showing you this part of Duck's name.
Okay.
Based on pattern analysis, it would seem that adjectives pierce through nouns, such as objects or items.
Of course.
This triangle, not only visually, but linguistically, can very easily
Man, that word
correlate to
again,
a beak,
linguistic.
and this entire line here could mean beak bearing. But again, this will be discussed further down
I was
the
gonna say
line.
that is
One
that's
problem,
very
however.
very
If this
getting
were
into
true,
it.
How do we know David and Rat Eyes as their names?
Rat Eye.
Your maiden name, of course.
Well,
Oh, wait, his maiden name. So do you think yellow, the white symbol here means rat eyes, bro? Wait, please somebody help me. Right there.
simple. We've already said it. These symbols are not our normal language-based words.
His name is David
These are
Rat
ideograms,
Eyes.
a form of linguistics that can be understood
Rat
in
hyphen
any
eyes.
language, such as emojis or pictures, or like
Yeah.
we said before, numbers. This is how we can have an English name of David or Rat Eyes, and it looked like someone closing their eyes and trying to draw the Fallout New Vegas alien blaster.
Hey, don't worry
In
about
English,
that.
it is a word such as David or Rat Eyes, but in this language, it is a quiver on a snake. But oh no,
Yeah.
we aren't done yet. We have
Oh.
understood exactly what these symbols are and what they can represent, but we still haven't discussed anything about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Or, well, the book in the room.
Show us
If
the
all
book
of
in the
these are
room.
the symbols we discussed, why are their names on the cover of the book as if it was their personal diary?
Because they're the main 3 characters, man. Did you not? Why are they in the drawer? Why is there 50 ducks in the drawer, man?
Well, it's not just their names that are on the cover of this book. We
Their
have
names
already
and their
discussed
maiden names.
that all of these symbols are ideographs, and we know that characters can come together to represent an idea or sentence or even a story. We have our glyphs here that represent our specific clauses, and we have this character down here that is composed of our specific clauses to represent a sentence.
Yep.
Then we have this much larger
Every time I
structure
look at
here.
that thing is
This
crazy.
complex character means I understood from my parents, as they did from their parents, etc., that they became happier as they more fully grokked and were grokked by their cat.
What?
As weird as that sentence is, this is how they are structured. We have glyphs that we identify.
That whole little
that come
thing said all
together
that? That's
to fully
crazy.
form these much larger words and sentences. Ideographs, like we mentioned, convey ideas and overall messages. We have our
Yes.
main glyphs that we've seen here. We have our napkin symbols that we've dissected and analyzed here, and we have our book cover. This cover takes these symbols that we've seen before and rearranges their overall structure.
Actually, wait.
Takes
Is that
these
one?
symbols-
That one on the notepad is missing the little 2 lines, meaning that's not part of his name. That ain't part of his name. Don't know if you noticed that, but
symbols that we've seen before and rearranges their overall structure to provide us not with a word, not with a sentence, not
so
with
that
a
says yellow
paragraph,
something, yellow
but
guy
with
something,
a
or whatever his
story.
name is.
And like we saw in the first episode, by analyzing the outside of this cover,
Whoops.
it's not just any
I
story.
know I've been yawning
it's
so
a
much today,
story
boys.
about these 3 right here.
Yeah.
This cover isn't just stating their names. All of these symbols are connected into one big character, one big idea.
That's what I was
Look at
thinking.
all of these connections, everything flows together.
All right, and that was the third "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" theory from him. Not bad, but Jesus Christ, my boy, that was a lot of knowledge for me to take into my little brain, and I don't got a lot of space in that brain of mine. Love to see some more theories from him. Let me know you guys' theories, and you already know what it is, boys. Until the next video, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
It's the it's that I said the